Proprioception is an organism's awareness of their body in space and ability to control that position. So it's about knowing where their body is, where their limbs are, how they're positioned. So Evo can actually get sensory input right now that he's got a flexed elbow, for example. He's getting information about the position of that limb. So it's information about the body, and it tells the dog where they're positioned and how they're positioned. But it's a little bit more than that, because it's also the ability to control that body position. So if Evo chases something, he's going to get up and move. That's not really conscious proprioception. He's doing it as a response. It's an instinctual motor pattern, but that is controlled by the proprioceptive system. So it's a system, it's a neurobiological system that controls body position and movements. So proprioception can be conscious. So if I ask Evo, sit down. I've asked him, I've directed for particular movements, they're learnt behaviors, and he can understand those and control his body, and he can tell not only with my response, but also the position of his body when he hits those directed movements. So that's conscious proprioception. Unconscious proprioception is the stuff that happens instinctually, like a reflex response, that is still controlled by the proprioceptive system, but it's not like thought about. So they're kind of conscious and unconscious proprioception. So things to us consider when we're looking at sporting dogs or doing fitness with our dogs is that the different components of the proprioceptive system. So first of all, you've got sensors all through your dog's body. Those sensors are lots of different types of sensors, and they're in lots of different places. And those sensors take in information about the environment around the dog, but also the dog's own body. A couple of examples that are really, really important for proprioception is there are mechanoreceptors within the joints. So as the joint bends and flexes and extends or moves around, the sensors within the soft tissues in those joints send that sensory information to the central nervous system. So the joint is basically telling the brain, I'm bent now, and I'm not bent now. Oh my. So joint mechanoreceptors are a really, really important part of proprioception, because if a dog can't understand that its leg is bent, it cannot then control whether that leg is bent or not. So the sensory information is going to go from those sensors in towards the central nervous system, so the spinal cord and the brain brainstem. stem. Other really important sensory units is actually for proprioception is actually within your dog's eyes. They have a really big impact on your dog's ability to detect and control their movements. So the proprioceptive sensors in the eyes are also going to send information to that central nervous system. The central nervous system is going to integrate that information, decide on the appropriate response, and then send signals back out to those parts of the body to control the desired response. So if Evo wants to get up to move forward, stand. He has to move his hip and his knee from flexion into a little bit of extension. So as they're in flexion and he decides to do a movement, the joint mechanoreceptors are going to detect that the joint is flexed. They're going to decide that we need to change some muscles to change the joint position. And then the gluteals, sorry, buddy. And the hamstrings are going to contract, try and move those joints into a little bit of extension from flexion. Proprioception is a really important process for your sports, but more importantly, your dog's life. Without proprioception, they can't control themselves to do all their life functions properly, and they can't enjoy being a dog. It's also a really useful thing for us to think about in terms of sports skills, fitness, and also rehabilitation, because we do have strategies that we can use to try and increase that sensory input and kind of kickstart or boost that proprioceptive system. What about you? Is it good? Do we need to do any more for your proprioception? What about you, little D? Are we good? Oh, your proprioception is excellent. Right, let's go.